and welcome to the Seahawkers podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Schultz, and we are live on a Saturday night ahead of game day, and I am joined by my good buddy, Clinton Bonner. Clinton, we are just a mere day away from our Seahawks taking on the Indianapolis Colts, and my oh my, do we have some news to talk about. It's been a busy couple days for Seahawks fans.
Yeah, and Colts fans alike. Poor Colts fans. But yeah, man, wow, I can't actually remember like a Saturday lead up where we just got walloped with like 3 or 4 actually big pieces of roster news and opponent news. And it just kept on coming. So we're like, I hit you up and said, let's get back on there. So we're going to go through all the cool news and notes, get you prepped for kickoff tomorrow. And in the second half of the show, we got Blue Friday bets. We're going to go through the picks, props, parlays, and we might be talking some Phillip Rivers and that part of the show too there, Brandon, because I mean, it's pretty interesting, right? The 44-year-old, he is a good quarterback after all, but how good can he be? I don't know. I really don't.
I have my doubts after when the news first broke this week. I was thinking, oh well, maybe, and then the more I look into it and think of like historically other dudes who have tried to do what Phillip Rivers is about to do, and not even it's. I don't think there's anything in history that you can go and point to that's exactly like this, where a guy is coming in like after not really even training a whole lot. It's wild to me, but it's also wild to me that we are joined live by some of our favorite listeners. I see Yokai Hawk out there. We got Bennett Levine, Holy Hand Grenade, we've got William, and we've got Whistle Jacket. So hello to Lisa as well, and Carly Perkins. So a big thanks to everybody joining us live here on Saturday.
Yeah, love that. Thank you. Thank you all. Excited to hang out with those that will also be in the Discord tomorrow. We'll have a lot of fun there. And, you know, as we start to look at the news and notes, one of the things that I think is like most prevalent for the game itself, that's not a news or a note per se, but it is the Rivers topic, is just like, the Colts run a lot of under center, like 30 some odd percent during the year, like 31, 32% under center. They're not going to do that with Phillip Rivers. I would imagine it's going to be lots of tons of shotgun. And it's like, okay, well, if you're not doing play action and you're not really, leveraging all that Jonathan Taylor brings because you're not getting under center and you're not doing play action, I don't know. The more and more I look at this, I just don't think it ends well for the Indianapolis Colts, dude.
It hadn't been going well for them anyway. That's why they're in the situation.
True fact.
But with regard to Jonathan Taylor and the idea of maybe not playing as much under center, I mean, you see Bijan Robinson, he's one of the better backs from playing out of shotgun because they play out of shotgun a lot in Atlanta. I think that Jonathan Taylor has a pretty good track record of running out of shotgun too. So I don't think it's going to give us too much of an advantage. That part of it, I don't see us getting as much of an advantage. It's more the idea of playing a 44-year-old quarterback that hasn't played a game in 4 years or 5 years that gives the bigger advantage over anything.
Yeah, choices were made for sure. So we are going to get into all that. We made this fancy MOB graphic. We're excited to bring that. And you see the Prophet Goose on stage with us because we're going to hit that up in just a little bit. And of course, folks should know if you're with us now, look, if you're watching right now, then hey, hit that like. It's sitting right in front of you. Hype the video, comment, and of course, look, please subscribe and share this with 12-12-12s. Brandon, yesterday was 12-12. So, the gift that could keep on giving is if folks out there are current members of the flock, share it with folks that they know are Seahawks fans. They keep on subscribing because we do lots of fun stuff, not just on YouTube, but pretty much everywhere we live.
Yeah, appreciate everybody joining us live too. If you are signed up and subscribed, that way you get the notifications. When we might just throw out a live show unexpected. But we missed last Saturday night. I'm glad to be back this Saturday night. Glad to get into it and looking forward to talking a little news and notes.
Yeah, for sure. So we put this up earlier in the week and like 2 days ago when we heard that Rivers might be the dude. And of course, spoiler alert, he is starting. So that is one of the news notes we will get to. But the worryometer, if we face Rivers, and we're going to face Rivers, and only 4% of the flock are like a little bit concerned. Most folks are like, hey, Coach Mike has this, and a big chunk are also like, dude, he's 44. It's not a concern. I personally, Brandon, I'm kind of in the middle ground. Like, I think Phillip Rivers can still do things.
It's not an option. You did not put that as an option on this.
Well, no, like that's Coach Mike has this. That means that, right? Like the bottom one with Kermit is like, dude, he's 44. He's not going to be able to do anything. The middle one's like, he's still Phillip Rivers. He'll probably be okay, and Coach Mike has this. So that's the nuance between those two. So where would you have placed your chip?
Yeah, I think earlier in the week when it was first announced, I was probably more in the Coach Mike has this. And then the more I think about it, it's dude, he's 44.
With his old balls. Gross. Okay.
I went back and I looked just at how the Seahawks have fared against older quarterbacks just this season. And that's what has me to zero worries. Like we faced 2 37-year-old quarterbacks, and those are the two oldest that have faced the Seahawks defense so far. And it was the dude that we just faced last week, Kirk Cousins, and Matt Stafford, who's also 37, and he threw for 130 yards against this defense.
Yeah, I mean, our defense put Stafford basically in a vice all day long. I mean, we didn't lose that game because of Stafford because of our defense, right? So no, good points. And Stafford's still playing obviously at a very high level, and Cousins even decent. He goes out there and beats the Bucks,
and they're 7 years younger.
It is a long time. Me as a 47-year-old, I feel that because I'm like, oh man, when I was 40, I feel that. So I'm with you. I am excited about this, and look, he's a competitor. We'll see what he does, but I'm somewhere still in the. I think he'll be able to get the ball out in time and avoid sacks because he's done that his entire career. Now, how Mike McDonald treats that, I hope we just don't do lots of zone. I don't think we will. We tend to play zone, but why would you just sit back and let him do short dump stuff? I just don't think that's going to be the case. Unless it's 3rd and 13 and you let him dump it off and you rally to the ball. Fine. But I think we're going to see more man in this game because why let Phillip Rivers do the one thing he actually can still do? Any thoughts on if we're going to see more man tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know if we'll see man versus zone. It might be. You can tighten up your zones and still play closer. I wanted to address what James Stradley said because, yes, Aaron Rodgers, the third quarterback who is over 40, and he also did not have that. No. I don't even think that Aaron threw for he might have had the best outing of the 3 older quarterbacks that we faced. Because he was one that I looked at, and I had forgotten about him because I had looked up the other 2. But Aaron Rodgers did eclipse 200 yards, but he was sacked 3 times and threw 2 picks.
Well, the last part on that too is like, look, we do what we do, and then we see Kirk Cousins come back the very next week and beat the Bucks and like move the ball at will. And obviously Stafford is still the MVP favorite, but didn't do anything against us basically. And Aaron Rodgers he's had some 4 touchdown games this year, just not against us. So, it's a combination of, he's old and our defense is nasty and healthy, which is really, really cool. So I think that will also take us into our news and notes. We got plenty of news. Hey, there's a smattering on screen here. Dealer's choice, Brandon. Where do you want to start?
Oh, let's start with Corbin. He's right up on top.
Okay. All right. So Corbin had a tweet out there and some others did as well, Corbin Smith. But the big news from the roster perspective, and a bit of a surprise perhaps, is that Jalen Sundell, Eric Saubert, and Riley Mills, the rookie from Notre Dame, they're all active for tomorrow. So there's things to kind of peel apart there, like who might play, who might start. And then the other bit of news is that we did move other rookie Elijah Arroyo to the IR. So he's going to miss now basically at least, I guess, the last 4 of the regular season. And I guess then you hope to get him back for the playoffs if he's indeed ready. So of that news, I guess, what is the most surprising to you?
I guess I didn't know that Arroyo's injury was necessarily that serious. But I'm also the idea of Riley Mills being activated. I'd probably put right there too. And just because he's being activated to the 53, that doesn't necessarily mean that he'll be on among the 47 active, 46
Whatever that
active
number is,
who are on game day. So I don't know if I expect to see Mills, but that's a bummer about Arroyo.
It is, and if he's, but it is a bummer, and we have depth in that position. And I'm not just talking Callerup. I think Saubert's a heck of a second tight end.
The Seahawks think he's a heck of a second tight end too, because they asked him to come back for another year.
That's it. That's another piece on screen there in case you're listening and not watching on YouTube, that Eric Saubert gets a nice 1-year extension. Kind of cool. It's nice to lock him up. Obviously, Schneider and team value him. And I thought earlier in the year I thought we were a bit more effective in the 12 and 13 stuff when Saubert was out there before he got injured. So I think I know he's a better blocker than Arroyo, and I think he's a better blocker than Callerup. So I like what I saw from Saubert so far. And again, Seahawks clearly did too. The other part, which we haven't hit on yet, is yes, Jalen Sundell comes back, and we expect him to be on the active roster tomorrow. But now the big question is, does he get his starting job back? What do you think, Brandon? Where would you place the probability that tomorrow we see Sundell out there as our center?
Oh, I put it at like 99%.
Wow, that high, huh?
Yeah, I think that he was the starter before. Olu came in. He didn't do anything that would suggest to me that he would have overtaken Sundell's job. So Sundell's back from injury, and he'll be out there starting.
Okay. I like the confidence. I wouldn't put it that high myself. I do think it's probable. I think it's the majority probability that he will be the starting center. I just didn't think it was, because also Coach Mike hasn't, maybe it's some gamemanship, but he has not said, oh yeah, he comes back in, he's starting center right away. Well, he could. He could, right? If it was JSN coming back from anything, and then, JSN's out there. So it's just a little interesting that he's holding the cards a bit close to the vest. And so we see the injury report also on screen, but again, we kind of ran through those things already. But I think it's cool. I think, look, if Mills is healthy, he's an exciting player, and for those that don't know, I think everybody watching this probably knows he was injured late in the Notre Dame season last year. And he's really just like a defensive kind of like, havoc creator, right? Not necessarily amazing against the run. And with that, he has a penchant for causing disruption and right up the middle and getting to the quarterbacks, like right through like the A and B gaps. So he'd be an interesting player, Brandon, that if we can add one more rotational piece into what is probably the best defensive line in football already, it could be a bit of a rich get richer thing if he's healthy, if he's effective. But those are a lot of ifs.
A lot of ifs. No ifs, along with our executive producer, Ryan 911, coming in with a $9.99 super chat saying, "Go Hawks." We also have Alana McCullum coming in saying, "Did you guys see Pat McAfee and AJ on their podcast pick Phillip Rivers and the Colts to beat the Seahawks?"
Oh, gross.
And a lot of crying emojis. But we also recognize that, Pat McAfee's a huge Colts homer, and
yes,
and plays for it has a history with the Colts, of course, and probably even played with Phil Rivers. So
yeah, probably. I would imagine so, because they're old. But still kind of gross. Come on. The thing that comes up for me there is it'd be a nice opportunity again for Seattle to just keep showing the whole NFL world that we're actually the number one defense. Everybody wants to get on the Texans, and the Texans are a good defense. They are good. And I think it's just simply like, oh, the Texans gave up less points on the year so far. Like they gave up like 30 less points than the Seahawks on the year. Okay. But like the division's worse that you play in, and our defense is better. Like when we went toe to toe, we beat you pretty handedly. So I really want the kind of the tone to change across the NFL, that our Seahawks are the best defense heading down the stretch. I don't know why it matters to me, but it does.
Well, I think unfortunately they're going to have a huge asterisk on this game if they go out and do what they've done to the other older quarterbacks. so far this season. It'll be like, oh, well, Phil Rivers is rusty after coming back. And for him to be thrown in against the Seahawks defense, it's not really fair to him.
Yeah, well, as my mom used to say, tough titty, right? So it is what it is. They made their own bed. And, I'm a little nostalgic for Rivers. I like Rivers as a player, but now that we got to face him tomorrow, like, too bad. Let's end it early. That'd be nice. Ending it early for the Colts. Their practice report, their injury report it's deep and unhealthy. So DeForest Buckner, who was, potentially, he was injured. He was like, will he make it back? He does not make it back. He's officially out. Braden Smith, their right tackle, he's officially out. Also, Ward he's injured a couple of weeks ago. He's still out. Sauce Gardner, he did not make it back. We're talking about, that's like 4 of their best players, Brandon. They are banged up. And then they have other role players who are not healthy either. We are pretty unhealthy. This Colts team, they're missing their best dudes.
It's interesting to see. Yeah. So, well, at least Grover Stewart, it looks like he's going to be okay for the game. The DeForest Buckner one not being back after being limited in practice, that's the biggest one for them. If DeForest Buckner were playing on the interior of that defensive line against us, that would have me like ever so lightly more concerned about this game. But yeah, it's tough for them missing some of their better players. We've got Aaron F. coming in, a member for 7 months out on YouTube. Go Hawks. If we sack Rivers, is that considered abuse of a grandfather? I think elder abuse is more of the law that we're concerned about, and Phil is not quite falling into that category just yet.
Not yet. Not quite yet. But what up, Aaron? Good to hear from you, dude. So there's one other factor, Brandon, that could change call it the constitution of this game. Do you have any idea what is kind of lingering out there still?
That could change the constitution of this game? This
is
very
the makeup.
You're being very deceptive with your line of questioning here.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'll just get at it. Look, it's gonna rain, and it's gonna depend on how much.
Like maybe in the fourth quarter,
right? Well, they also think like perhaps pregame. It looks like right now that we're gonna get a bit of a reprieve. That it looks like it might rain in the morning, subside, and actually be okay by like noon, 1 o'clock Pacific. And then maybe hold off. So, but it's just one of those things you don't know. The wrong cell rolls in the wrong time. And I realized the PNW has been getting hammered with lots and lots of rain. So it might rain. If it does, just to play it out a little bit, if it does, is there more of an advantage to the Colts because it's wet out there?
It would have to be the type of weather to where neither team could throw the football and it's purely an attack on the ground, running in the wet, to where that's the only impact. And even still, I feel like with K9, I think he can be just as explosive as Jonathan Taylor. Like, okay, they're both explosive backs. And I feel like the percentage of explosive runs is higher with Taylor, but K9 also has that ability to hit that top speed to where if, you're in that type of game where you're just stacking the box because there is no ability to throw. And I think it's very unlikely that you're going to have that type of game.
Yeah.
But it would have to be that. And then I would give the edge to the Colts offensive line because they have the better offensive line, especially in run blocking, than Seattle.
You said it exactly as I would, so I won't repeat it. I think the important part for folks dialing in with us right now is that it shouldn't be that bad. It might be a little wet, but it shouldn't be that bad. And Phillip Rivers between Sam and Phillip, Rivers has had more of a hard time because he played, in beautiful San Diego and then played in the Dome with Indy. And he actually has had a hard time historically with rain. And Sam, I think he'll be okay. So I think if it's like light rain, no big deal, maybe even more advantage Seattle. If it is a downpour, then, it kind of levels the playing ground a little bit, but I don't think it'll be that bad. The interesting part is once we start to look at Thursday, Thursday might be a slop fest, but let's get through tomorrow first before we start talking about that Rams game. All right, Brandon, we got one more thing to get to before Blue Friday bets, and that is our rooting guide. But anything else coming up from the flock that you want to highlight?
Oh, we got Derek saying, I don't see that cocky vibe from our Hawks, which is nice. No, just from these Seahawks fan podcasters. Sometimes teams seem to be asking for being handed a loss with all the overconfidence, but I think our Hawks can back it up. It's part of the way that Coach Mike has been kind of asking them to just kind of play within their game. And it's a little bit of how Pete Carroll kind of addressed that type of approach with his players too. So I think it's a good approach to take. And I think you're right, Derek. And Aaron coming in with a $5 super chat. Good to see you guys too. Tom Grossi made the elder abuse joke in one of his videos. I think that's fair.
I agree. One thing, and Aaron, thank you, dude. That's very nice of you. One thing I want to call out is we got a Ram fan. Ram fan found his way in. Look, and I'm not going to read everything Ram fan is saying, but basically saying that he hopes it's a trap game. Look, man, all I got to say to you is you're about to go play the Lions tomorrow, and you're hanging out with us. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror, my guy. Go look at yourself. Go Lions. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's a trap game if I've seen one, and it's actually against a team that is a pretty solid team.
They are pretty good, and we got our rooting guide right here, so we can go through it quickly. I put the check mark next to Falcons over Bucks. It's less about do we want to see the Bucks win the South or the Panthers. At this point, I think the Panthers might be a better team. But Ram fan, when the Falcons beat the Bucks, your draft pick next year got worse, so you could kick rocks. We got Raiders versus Eagles. Brandon, I'll pause right there. I don't know if we want the Eagles to lose more games and the Cowboys sneak in at this point. Do you have thoughts on that one?
Oh, that Eagles team, they have so much talent that I am concerned about them. But that Cowboys offense is also kind of concerning. I just feel like there's a lot more volatility with the Eagles team. There's more of knowing what to expect with the Cowboys. And I guess I just know that if we're in the playoffs and I had to choose between an Eagles defense and a Cowboys defense, like I prefer to go up against the Cowboys defense. But, man, that Cowboys offense can score a lot of points.
Yeah, that's well said. So I don't know what to do there. The good news is it probably won't matter, right? So the Eagles should take care of business. Eagles, by the way, for those that might be wondering, they still play the Commanders twice too. So they got Raiders, then I think Commanders, then Bills, then Commanders. So they should be able to close out their division, but they're not playing good football. So that'll be one to watch and just kind of be intrigued about. We got Browns over Bears. That's just like a big duh. Interesting to see what the Browns defense can do versus Caleb, who played well until he did not at the end of the game. We would root for the Saints over the Panthers just to kind of keep any of those teams kind of down and out, I think. So go Saints. Broncos over Packers. Big duh on that one. Of course, we want that. Vikings over Cowboys. Again, either way, I don't really want to see CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and that team and Dak Prescott. They can run with anybody, I feel like. So either way, Vikings over Cowboys, I think, is what we want. Titans over the stupid Niners and Lions over the very, very stupid Rams. And of course, go Hawks. Any games in particular that you're going to be most focused on besides our Seahawks taking on the Colts?
Yeah, well, we have to, don't we have to actually, in a rooting guide, do we have to make a decision of if we want the Eagles or the Cowboys? Because in this case, it seems like we just want them both to get beat. And it seems relatively inconsequential at this point. I see Adam in chat saying not afraid of any team from the NFC East. Eagles are in disarray, and we can hold the boys to 17. So I think that leads back similar to my comments. And the Packers and the Broncos is the most interesting of the games because you have two really good teams. Packers really good at playing when they want to be good. Broncos really good at coming back in late game moments when they have no business coming back. So that should be a fun and interesting game to see how the Packers defense, if they're able to stop that Broncos offense, especially late in the game. I think I would pick the Packers in that matchup. But again, it comes down to whether or not they decide to show up in that game. And then, of course, Lions over the stupid Rams. I mean,
Of course on that one. And Titans, maybe, who knows? Hey, stranger things have happened, so go Titans. Packers Broncos is very intriguing. Good game. It's in Denver, and Denver's defense is legit. With that, if you're like, okay, Bo Nix or Jordan Love, I think Jordan Love's a better quarterback. So we'll see. But Bo Nix has been tough and gritty, and but I do think Jordan Love's a better quarterback. So we'll see how that one goes, but very, very interesting to watch two good teams go at it. And I guess we'll see just how good Denver is. The record's good, but are they actually good? Defensively, yeah. Offensively, I don't know. I'm not too sold. But that is our rooting guide. So it's actually a good slate.
To the point, going back to the Broncos versus Packers, it is a strong rooting interest for the Broncos because I think, don't the Packers have a chance at number 1 seed potential?
They must, because that stupid tie, right? So either what are they, 8-3-1, whatever they are. So they're in first place in the division with that big. That was a good game last week. That Bears Packers game, that was a legitimately fun game to watch. I'm sure that they have a legit shot.
Yeah, there's only 3 teams with 3 losses. It's Seattle, Rams, Packers.
Yeah, so go Broncos, as gross as that is, because that is kind of gross. But all right, so that brings us to our second half of the show in Blue Friday bets. I am glad that Adam was able to dial in. His Wi-Fi is crappy where he is. He's traveling, but glad he's with us, and have to tip my cap, because while we didn't get a show out last week, we did have our bets. And Brandon, Adam picked a plus 40 something. I want to say plus 405 that hit last week. Deserves some recognition. He took Kirk Cousins to throw not 1, but 2+ interceptions, and he nailed it. So he won last week. I had 1 that hit. He was 2 out of 3, but he had a pretty big whopper, putting down $10 and winning over $40 just betting against Kirk, or maybe better yet, betting for our Seattle defense.
Yeah, you can count it either way. Our Seattle defense against an aged quarterback likely to yield a couple interceptions, like it did for, again, going back to that, it worked out. We got 2 interceptions against Captain Kirk. We got 2 interceptions against Aaron Rodgers. The one older quarterback to not throw any picks, of course, was Matt Stafford.
Yeah, well, we'll get him. We'll get him in just in 4 short days from now, which maybe it's more rain, like we talked about. So for those that don't know Blue Friday bets, we'll run through it very, very quickly. It's a game within a game. We have 4 downs where we're going to place 4 different bets. Bet 1, bet 2, bet 3. Those are $10 bets, and you could take anything on the board. Doesn't matter what the odds are. Just go try to win your bet. The 4th down bet, we call it the Fail Mary, the Sunday Scratcher, the Sunday Rubber, of course. It's a $1 bet, but it must be plus 1,200 or longer odds to even qualify, meaning a dollar bet nets you at least $12. Those are hard to hit. I think we only have 2. I think Adam hit 1 this year, and I hit 1 this year. Those are tough to hit, but they are fun, and sometimes they win the week. So with that, you're going to be representing and talking about Brandon's Adam's picks, I should say. He is first because he won last week. Are you ready for me to unveil his bet number 1?
Let's see it. He is in chat too. Adam addressing, we should address him and me as Adam as current champion. So thank you.
Oh, fine. All good. He ain't wrong. All right. So look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He is going bet 1, Jackson Smith in Jigba, 7+ receptions at minus 117. Again, if folks are not used to the odds, that means if you bet $10, your profit would be about $8 and 50 cents or something like that. That's the negative 117. Brandon, Jackson Smith and Jigba catches lots of balls. The Colts are hurt all over the place. Their DBs are a disaster. What do you think?
Yeah, this is just a recognition of how we look at this Colts secondary, and with Sauce being out, with them being relatively depleted on that back end, you have to think that there's not going to be a Colts defensive back that's going to be able to cover JSN well. So 7+ receptions, if you go back in the history of this year, him getting 7+ receptions, it's probably happened quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I see Adam looking at this and going, hey, smash that easy button, because JSN targets probably going to happen frequently throughout this game.
Yeah. And last week, the Seahawks did the thing where they really wanted to clearly get him some touches early, even though it was like bubble screeny stuff. But again, if you're doing Blue Friday bets, you're doing picks and parlays, sometimes you don't love the bubble screeny stuff as a Seahawks fan. But if you're taking 7+ receptions, you're like, cool, give me that easy first one and let's get going. So wonderful. See that again this week. So I got Adam saying JSN is awesome and no DBs plus Colts pass rush is not great. He's saying easy money. So I went to the Phillip Rivers right away. Brandon, I'm on my first bet here. I looked at their over under just for pass attempts. They have them at 27.5, which is a lot. That's not nothing. I think in comparison, I'm pretty sure Sam Darnold is at 28.5 for the game, just so people have like, kind of a guide.
Yeah.
So it's not like a small number. With that, I don't think they're going to have a lot of success running the football because it's not a Jonathan Taylor thing. This is a Seattle Seahawks are very, very good at defending the run. And I think we'll be up. So if it's not going to be a heavy Taylor day in terms of yards or success, and we're up by 10 or 14, which Vegas very much thinks we will be because the spread's about 14, then they're going to be a situation where he's got to huck the ball. Even if it's 2-yard outs, he's got to huck the ball. So I think he's going to throw the ball over 30 times in what will be a pretty lopsided game. So at plus 102, basically even money, I like my chances. What do you think?
I think that this is a terrible bet on your part, to be honest, because there are only so many 3 and outs that you can take for Indianapolis, and so it's gonna be real tough. A lot of people have been talking about Steve DeBerg coming because he's like the one guy who went from like a 5-year or 4 or 5-year absence from 93 to coming back in 1998. And, he was on the bench for the Falcons, and Chris Chandler goes down midseason. He ends up coming in, and a dude who had been playing, at least in practice throughout the week, he only attempted 20 passes back in 98 when he came in as a backup quarterback. So, and that was a game that they lost 28-3. So if there's a blowout, I have a hard time seeing them getting to 28 passes.
Okay. Well, we shall see. I think it's going to be a bit of a let Phillip Rivers try, and it might be their best bet. I like this right here from Angry and saying JSN 300 yards. Just lock it up. And we had Aaron come back in too. He said, fun bet I did at the start of the season was Emanwari for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Well, fun. Aaron, if you know the odds you got on that, just drop them in because that is interesting for sure.
It's also bold considering how little attention folks pay to Seattle. So.
Yeah, for sure. And then we got Adam one more time saying any Rivers bet is a sucker bet. We haven't seen Rivers since 2 administrations ago. I hear you, but I still. Well, fine, whatever. It's okay. It is a bit of a sucker bet because we don't know the gauge. We don't know, but it's like, but I think they're going to throw the ball a lot. All right. So we are up on bet number 2 now, back to Adam. And I don't think he thinks this one's a sucker bet. He's saying he wants Jonathan Taylor basically to get at least 21 rushing attempts, near even money. So minus 109. I get it. And I like it. And you could expect a heavy dose of Jonathan Taylor. It's just a matter of, do the Seahawks get out to a sizable lead where they really just have to bend the run, Brandon?
There is no lead that I think is safe for the Seahawks to where not running the football with Jonathan Taylor ends up being the better option. So I think the only thing that busts this bet is that if they start screen passing Jonathan Taylor a lot rather than running him. But I expect Taylor to smash 20 rush attempts with this game. Again, even if it gets to that 28-3 type situation, Jonathan Taylor is a very explosive running back, and he has that opportunity to break an explosive play, I think, with his legs more than Phillip Rivers has a chance to break an explosive play throwing the football.
Perfect. And Adam chiming in with his comment saying this is because Steichen doesn't want Phil to die. So could be Rabbit. I like
this is good. This is a pro Phillip Rivers bet. Then it's like I want Phil Rivers to survive this game.
Survive, right? That's kind. I like that. I also like this from Mike here in Montgomery saying Rivers makes the goofiest facial expressions. I guess he does. He doesn't swear though, right? Just does all the dag nabbits. And we got Aaron came back in and said it was plus. So his Eamon for defensive rookie of the year was at plus 4,000, but he also came back in with a $2 super chat, which I think is very nice, Brandon.
He will not get a well, I don't know. Maybe Aaron, maybe we can get you a plus 4,000 return on that $2 bet today. How about that?
I like that. Let's make $2 $8,000. Yeah, perfect. If that's how that works, or maybe $800. I forget. I don't know.
That's a lot of math that I'm.
Yeah,
really
it's not like we do a gambling show every week
night.
or something like that. Yeah. So, all right, I'm up on my bet number 2. I like this one. I was able to take 2 things that I think are pretty probable and then get close to even money. So, what it is Sam to throw at least 2 touchdowns. So 2 plus touchdowns through the air for Sam, and then he just has to be the quarterback who throws the most yards in the game. So seemingly just beat Phillip Rivers in yards, and we're at minus 109. We talked about the DBs, so I won't revisit that. I like the combination here to get close to even money. What do you think, Brandon?
I hated your first one. I love this one. This one makes a ton of sense. Most passing yards, because whether it ends up being Phil Rivers, whether it ends up being Riley Leonard if he comes in and has to play, Darnold, I think with 200 passing yards is going to be is going to put up the most yards, and then 2+ touchdowns. Yeah, with JSN in the red zone, this explosive offense, I think 2 touchdowns has a good chance of happening.
Very nice. Adam likes it as well, and we had a cool comment from how would you say this? Maze Guru, right? So Maze Guru 3891. I was like, Maze. No, not Maze, just Maze. And it says, will Rivers really make it to the 4th quarter? As in Adam's honor, Brandon, hard telling, not knowing, right? So we don't know. And before we get to one last one, Aaron said he put down 20 and he would win 820. So $100. Oh, look at that. He says, if he wins it, $100 super chat coming our way. So now we are.
Look, if you want to do 5 to 10% on your winnings to the show every time it happens, we will gladly accept that. Thank you.
We don't mind. We don't mind. All right. Adam also had on his 3rd down bet, he had some Sam Darnold ideas as well. I like this one. So Sam just to go over 240 yards or more passing the ball, and he gets to plus 111. So it gets a little bit of extra juice there. I don't know how many times we could say it. I don't think the Colts are they're not generating a ton of pressure. Their best dudes are out along the line, and their best DBs are out. To me, this feels like a game that Sam could be more in the 250 plus, potentially 3 touchdown game. I like this one. If he doesn't get it, I think it'll be awfully close. Something where if he's not there, he's like 229, 235. But I like the extra juice getting that to 240. What about you?
240 is probably right in line with what you see, an average game from Sam. So, go to the Tennessee game, he was at 244, and Atlanta 249. The big games that we've seen from Darnold have been against Washington, against Tampa. He had over 300 in both those games. He had nearly 300 against Jacksonville. Shoot, he had 213 yards against that Houston Texans defense with their pass rush, and they got solid corners as well and defensive backs. So with a depleted defense, 240. It seems like above the average of like the Arizona game, 242. Atlanta 249. It does feel like he should be able to hit that plus side of 240.
Yeah, and Adam chiming back in saying play action will be rolling, so Sam will too. And we talked about the exact opposite of that Rivers will be in shotgun a lot. The Steichen offense, they actually do lots of under center play action, but they're not going to do that with Rivers.
The only thing that makes this tough is if the unpredictability of the rain piece.
A little bit of rain. And we got Mays back in saying it's going to be close to 240, calling it a toss up. So, I mean, I think Vegas also agrees with you, Mays, right? So plus 111, Vegas is saying it's slightly less likely than more likely that Sam gets the 240. But I like that little bit of juice. So
I think
it's good stuff.
the thinking though with Adam is that 240 it probably is like his league average for the year, and looking at that and saying because of the game, just the components within the game, it just makes it more likely to be on the upper end than the under end.
I'm 100% with it. And I think this is also a game where you might get another either JSN or Shaheed deep shot, where you get one of the plays and you're like, okay, there's 60. That seems I wouldn't say likely, but very, very probable.
Yes. All right. Thanks.
Perfect.
Thanks, Adam, coming in.
Yeah, love it. Love it. All right, good stuff. All right, I am sticking on the Sam train, and I found this one, and this is my third bet. And it comes off of the heels, no pun intended, of Sam getting on his horse last week and converting a couple of, sometimes just like 8-yard gains. First half, a crucial first down to get us in field goal position to tie the game at 6 before he blew it open. And the bet is very simple. Sam Darnold needs 5 or more rushing yards, and I get to plus 112. I like it. And, I could maybe it's just one of those things where a quarterback's not doing it so much. And then, they get a little bit of taste for it. It's raining a little bit. So sliding's nice and easy and kind of fun. So how about that? We have a fun little day where Sam actually gets 12 yards rushing, and this cashes.
I don't really like bets that are just based purely off of a previous week, and that's problem
not enough data.
It's not enough data, but it's also Sam is not a running quarterback historically, and I mean if you look back through the season, like every time that he's had double-digit rushing yards, he has rushed for zero yards or like minor single-digit yards the week after. So based on historic precedent, this is very unlikely to happen based on just what we've seen this season.
Well, I don't like your reasoning. I hate your logic, and I don't like your math. And I'm sad that I didn't look any of those things up when I took that bet earlier. But what can I say? I did get a puppy today, so I was a little distracted in all the good ways. So yes, we got a new puppy, and her name is Bowie. And so now Bella, my other dog, is now a very proud sister. Although she's not quite ready for Bowie yet, but she'll get there.
Unsure of having a sister.
Yeah, but she'll get there. All right. So our Fail Mary is up again. The Sunday rubber. Remember, it's $1, and it must be more than 1,200 or more longer odds. I go first this time. We flip it. So this was just simply, what if JSN goes bonkers? So I had to goose this a bit. I was like, oh, maybe 10, maybe 150 yards and 10 receptions. Let's throw a touchdown on there, see what happens. It was like, no. So I had to really jack this up. 11 receptions, 175 or more yards, but I get to a hot plus 1480. Brandon, I mean, I could see it. I know it's a long shot, but if anybody's going to have a huge day, it could be JSN.
He has not yet hit 175 yards this year, but if he's going to do it, it's against this Colts team. And you know what? Hey, this gives you something to cheer for. It gets him back in pace for that receiving record for the season. And why not goose it a little bit?
Right, why not? And thank you, Ryan, for recognizing the Sunday rubber.
Nobody calls it that except for you and Ryan.
Everybody calls that. All right, so here comes Adam's Fail Mary, and we mentioned his name earlier, and I don't mind this one bit. So he just has a Shaheed as the first touchdown maker of the game. Vegas thinks it'll be the Seahawks who score the first touchdown. Those odds are heavily in Seattle's favor. And Shaheed had, I know it's only 1 week, Brandon, so it might upset you, but he had his best week. And, at any time he could get open deep, and it could be Adam cashing this for a plus 1,600. So of the two Fail Marys, which one do you like better?
I probably this one, because I recognize that either one of these, the reason why it's the Fail Mary and, plus 1,200 or higher, none of these are, easy bets to hit. But with Shaheed, it ends up being only one play, and you have the opportunity that he could take the kickoff, the opening kickoff to the house, or it could be just a pass that he ends up, burning the defense for. So
true.
you have the double option with Shaheed, whereas you just have to really hope for a monster game, not just in yardage, but also in catches for JSN.
Yeah, he did it last game, right? He scored the first touchdown of the game last week on a kickoff return. So
Adam, of the first half. Oh, was that the first of the game too? Yes, it was.
Yeah, because it was 6-6.
So yeah, it could. You know what? I just erased the whole first half from my memory.
It wasn't that, by the way. I went back and watched it a couple times. Second drive is good. It stalls out. We get 3. The last drive of the half was good, and we get 3. So it wasn't all that bad. All right, but Adam has the need for speed. Mays is saying, Mays says, no way I do this bet. I think maybe he was talking about the JSN one. But remember, Mays, this is $1. This is the Sunday rubber, so it's just for fun. And let's see, he says, I just don't think they'll throw Shaheed. Oh, he's talking about Shaheed in a short red zone type play.
I didn't either. That's why I didn't reference short red zone. I mentioned the kickoff, and then I mentioned like a deep, explosive play as the potential. Because I agree with you.
You could see.
I mean, it could happen. It's just
you could envision one of those where like we get to about midfield, right? And we get to like a 2nd and 2, and Sam gets under center, and it's a play action, and then and he's throwing the ball off screen, and you look, and it's that's Shaheed. Mm-hmm. It's that you could envision that. So at least I can. But we love it. We love the live comments, and Adam calling his shot 42-yard receiving touchdown.
Why didn't you put that on there? Then you would have gotten plus like 10,000.
I love it. And then Tapwater coming in saying, Shards is getting that ball. So I think he meant Sharbs because he steals all touchdowns and makes me very, very sad.
You think it's Sharbs and not Shards? Because I don't think there is a player on our team who is referred to as Shards either.
Yes, and we're also not the Shartnals, so I don't think it's them either, right? So, and yes, he came back in and said it is, of course, Sharps. So it is a lot of fun. So that takes us through it, Brandon. We did the thing. We did everything we set out to do. We had tons of news, tons of notes. We went through our Blue Friday bets. I'm feeling invigorated. I'm feeling like we're about to go have another fun Sunday and go get our 11th and, put this cute little Phillip Rivers story to a nice early bedtime.
I can't wait to see it. It does feel, gosh, the more I get into it, the more likely it feels. But I don't know. I'll probably be a little bit nervous on game day. Again, I do think that potential exists for the emotion of the game to really propel the Colts early. And man, if they start to get rolling on the ground early and it starts looking like maybe we have a hard time stopping the run, like that's the part that I'm going to be worrying about the most. And big thanks to Jeremy Green coming in too.
Love that. So, of course, folks, if you're still with us, then like, subscribe, and share it with some 12s. We all know, like, you have a phone. Everybody listening has a phone. And I know in that phone, you have contacts who are Seahawks fans. And it'd be really, really cool if you'd be like, hey, man, ever listen to this show? Pass it along, raise the Hawkra, like, subscribe, hype the video, do all the things. Because, Brandon, when our Hawkra is right on Sundays, I like our chances.
I like our chances too. And thanks again to Ryan911 who came in with a $10 super chat. Thanks to Aaron who came in with 5. Big thanks for Aaron coming back in with another 2. So, and Aaron for being a member for 7 months. Fun time hanging out with you all here on a Saturday night.
Yes, and we'll leave it with Mays saying 34-9 Seahawks. Brandon, I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.